Okay, I'm sure this video is going to go down well. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about 7 things that wrestling fans should leave in 2024, moving into 2025. Let's get rid of those annoying, frustrating, disappointing elements of our fandom. Let's leave them. Let's leave them in 2024. Let me know yours down in the comments below. I'll try to apply to every single one of them because I think there's going to be quite a fun list. So, how is this list going to work? This is just things regarding the wrestling fandom that I think should be left in 2024. Things that I hate. So, shall we just dive straight into it? Coming in at number 7.5, we have listening to Eric Bischoff. Why do we do it? Coming in at number 7, we have the death of a company. Now, listen to me, all you AEW haters. TNA is still here. TNA is still here. So, all this nonsense about attendance, about all this bollocks about the death of a company, whether it be AEW, whether it be TNA, whether it be New Japan, whether it be WWE, all this death of a company stuff that we're talking about, why don't we just shut the fuck up? Because it's not going to happen anytime soon. And why do you want it to fail? Like, there's no need for it anymore. Like, AEW just got this massive deal. WWE just got this massive deal. Like, what's going on? Wasting your time saying, oh, this company's going to die? Just do something else, mate. Coming in at number 6, we have the Judgment Day. Please God, can the Judgment Day split up as one of the most polarizing, useless, frustrating, probably the worst faction in all of pro wrestling right now? Yes, beating House of Torture. I would rather watch House of Torture than watch the Judgment Day, because the Judgment Day as a unit aren't very good. They've held up the women's title. They've held up the tag team titles, and it's just sucked this awful vortex into the mid-card of Raw and the main event scene of the women's division that I just can't stand watching anymore. Anytime any of them are on, whether it be people who are in the Judgment Day like Priest, like Rhea, whether it be Finn, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Carlito, JD, all of them need to go their separate ways. Split them all up, let them do their own things, because I cannot watch any more Judgment Day. I cannot watch any more Liv Morgan title matches. I cannot watch any more, thankfully, Finn Balor and JD McDonough finally defending the tag titles and finally getting them to the Viking Raiders. I just can't be dealing with the Judgment Day anymore, guys. Please let it go. Coming in at number 5, we have the dismissal of different types of professional wrestling. Now, professional wrestling is an art form. It has genres, it has styles. For instance, movies have styles. You may not like musicals. You may not like action films. But in their own right, you can appreciate what they mean to other people and how they are crafted. Actively shitting on, whether it be high-flying wrestling, strong-style wrestling, whether it be, we'll get to it in a minute, but indie wrestling, whether it be big men matches, each different style has its own appeal. And dismissing something as flippy shit, where you've got an entire country in Mexico who flippy shit is like, that's lucha libre, that is culture, that is how they wrestle in Mexico. Strong style is how they wrestle in Japan. That is culture. That is dismissing and being ignorant of someone's culture. Just because that type of wrestling doesn't appeal to you doesn't mean you can degrade it and say the phrase that I hate the most in the entire discourse of this, that's not wrestling. It is wrestling. And it's good wrestling. If you like that kind of wrestling, You can critique it all you like in a civil manner, but to say it's not wrestling and to degrade it and to make people feel bad for liking it, yeah, no, let's leave that in the past, right? All wrestling is wrestling. Riot Cabaret had Mr. Blobby and Thunder Rosa singing Fairy Tale of New York. That is pro wrestling just as much as Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada in the Tokyo Dome is pro wrestling, just as much as Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is pro wrestling. Let's get off our high horses and accept all different types of wrestling. Coming in at number 4, we have something that I have talked about a lot, and this doesn't just pertain to pro wrestling, this can pertain to most live events: insane ticket prices, and in particular, paying insane ticket prices. Because us paying these extortionate prices for WrestleManias, for SummerSlams, is the man above us just milking every single penny out of you. They are pushing that bar, seeing as how high they can go before it breaks. And they're going to keep pushing that bar. They're going to keep charging more. They're going to keep charging more for tickets. They're going to keep doing 2-night events, so you have to buy the combo tickets. And if you just talk with your wallet and don't go, that is us speaking with our wallets. That is us saying we are not consuming this as much as we want to go. Speaking with your wallets and fighting these ticket prices, that is the only way to combat, like, what's the word? I was going to say capitalism then. I don't know if it's, it might be capitalism. And just the extortionate prices. Because if no one's paying them, the prices will come down. That's the way it works. Like, I know you want to see WrestleMania, but you really want to shell out like $500,000. No, $500,000's not a lot. Like 5,000 quid to go to a WrestleMania? Like, come on, let's talk with our wallets, people. Let's say no to these ticket prices. Coming in at number 3, and we have one that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the dismissal of independent wrestling, whether it be through you only watch WWE and you look at the independent wrestling as the low leagues, whether it be you just sort of relegate them to bingo halls and say, oh, that's just bingo halls, you're just walking bingo halls in front of 15 people. Listen, a performance in front of 15 people can be more entertaining than a performance in front of 10,000. I will stand by that. I will stand by the fact that I have had more fun at independent wrestling shows than I have large American wrestling shows. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, the dismissal and just the blatant ignorance of ignoring independent wrestling when guys who are now on the main roster, guys and gals who are now on the main roster, cut their teeth on the indies doing what you are dismissing. Like, how does that work? How does that logic work? You're Jack Cartwheel, WWE ID prospect, could be a world champion. And are you going to dismiss him now because he's on the indies? No, you shouldn't do that. It makes no sense. So the indies and independent wrestling is something that helps the industry. The industry is not WWE and AEW as much as sort of the discourse will have you believe. No, independent wrestling, particularly here in the UK, is potentially like the best it's been since like 2016, 2015. It is really, really good. And over in the US as well, you've got awesome stuff going on with Defy, Deadlock Pro. There's so much stuff out there that you should broaden your horizons and check out if you think, oh, I need the big scale of WWE. No, you can sit back and just watch an indie for probably like, what, 1/100th of the price as well. Yeah, so check out and support your local indies, guys. Coming in at number 2, we have tribalism. Yes, let's get tribalism the fuck out, please, because it's so stupid. I've done a video on this. I'm not going to go into it long, but just because you like WWE doesn't mean you want AEW to die. I think the prime example of that is Penta. Like, there's a very obvious tweet out there of someone dissing or like running down Penta for doing multiple Canadian destroyers, and then tweeting years later, oh, is this a tease for Penta? Like, just because they're in another company, that you can like the other company. You don't have to fucking fight all the time. It's infuriating. absolutely infuriating. And let's just rope this in with Twitter, because Twitter's a very hostile place and fuels tribalism. Yeah, just tribalism's just fucking annoying. And at number 1, you should probably know what this is, because it is going away and it will go away in 2025, and that is talking about the ratings, the fucking ratings between AEW, WWE, NXT. They're going in the bin. They're actually going in the bin, because Raw's going to Netflix. We don't need to hear about Raw figures. AEW is going to be on Max. We don't need to hear about AEW figures, because you can't qualify and they don't release streaming numbers, so you won't have numbers for AEW or Raw, and we can just put that behind us. They're on streaming services. Do you know how many people watched, I don't know, the Sexy Snowman film? No, because they don't put out the numbers on streaming services. They just don't. And that is a wonderful goddamn thing for pro wrestling, because we'll never, hopefully, fingers crossed, never have to hear about ratings again. And I cannot wait. And that tops my list. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you want wrestling fans to leave behind in 2024? Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.